Hey Ryan, thanks for sending the case over. Let's try to go through this and troubleshoot a couple of the things here. This is one of those opportunities that if we can look back and now that you've done some cases, look at a case and kind of see areas that you can improve on or that are possibly holding you up. So whenever I'm looking at a case, I always basically start over and look through it. And then if we need to do a redesign or something, I'll show you that here. So going back to the admin screen, make sure that we have everything right here. Crown, Biocopy, Emacs, and we'll use, let's have the MCXL virtual since I'm on my desktop here. So let's go to acquisition. Okay, so looking through here, I'll check your catalogs. So we'll look at your Biocopy. Okay, it looks good. All right, overall pretty good. I mean, the areas you wanted to copy here are in this area. That may have been helpful right there, and so we'll check that. Okay, your lower jaw, this will show you the outline of that crown. We're looking pretty good through there. We'll talk, I'll show you with your prep here in a second some things that you can look at. Okay, that looks okay there. And then looking at your bite. Okay, from this view it does look like we have a lot of clearance, but we may need to look at what our clearance looks like with the Biocopy. So there's a difference there. Let's go on to the model here. Okay, so looking at your margin, looking at your margin here. So it's always wonderful blowing up our preps to 20x. What I would tell you is, overall it looks like you've imaged well, you've packed cord really well. I think you can draw your margin a little bit more fluid through here and kind of see a little bit more of a nice contoured line. One thing that I will do frequently is I'll use this preparation analysis right here. And that will tell us all the areas that are likely to chip or break during manufacture, during the milling process. So what I'll do on cases that I do is I'll toggle to this step and then I'll toggle back and I'll take a look here and then just redraw little sections. So we'll come back to that in a moment. With your Biocopy line, it looks good, but I try to keep my Biocopy line out of my contact area. Especially right here where you've got some of the tooth next to it. You can get some really funky proposals with that. Okay, so I would have brought that back and I wouldn't really want to copy this since we don't have data there. Okay, going over to the design. Okay, so let's look at a couple things. First I'll look at the Biocopy. So it looks like we're pretty copied through there. Kind of a nice stitching, and we do see the minimal thickness showing through. Okay, I'm going to go to your parameters here. I just want to take a look. Okay, that looks good. I usually will put dynamic down at -100, and that looks good through there. But we'll leave it at what you have. The biggest thing that I think that you're wondering on is why we have some bubbles showing through if it looked like we had the clearance. So I'm going to turn on the slice tool. Let me actually change my orientation. So the slice tool lets us slide through the restoration and we can see. So the blue is the minimal thickness and the restoration is on top. So we did a Biocopy, which means that we locked down the outer surface of this restoration and told the computer to make everything else work on the inside. Well, if you can see that kind of, let's say the vector of the crown is kind of going this way and the vector of the tooth is going this way, that can lead to some of these shallow areas like this. So although looking at the tooth you had enough clearance, let me turn on the upper and the lower, although looking at the tooth we said, okay, we've got enough clearance, which we do, but we did not have enough clearance for the Biocopy that was there. Hope that's making sense. So you can see here that's essentially the 1.2 millimeters this way and the 500 on the outside. And so as I scroll forward to the back, the tooth preparation is just a little bit tight through there. Let me turn off that slice tool. And let's look down. If I turn off the restoration, turn off the minimal thickness, what I will tell you is we're pretty sharp in that area right there. So that will lead to overmilling in that area. So something like that I would want to polish down and really get to be doing better. So what I would probably do is step back. Let's step back here, and we can use, let's change this from Biocopy to biogeneric individual, and we'll keep all that the same. Okay, I'll go through to the model step here. So with looking at the margin, I will look down on areas like this. And so I'll go back and just try to clean up little spots. And I want it smooth. And I'm not on my machine with my normal trackball, I'm on my desktop. So if I'm not very coordinated here, it's because I'm not very good with this mouse. We're just trying to clean that up. So you can see there, you kind of go beyond your margin just a little bit. Okay, that little bleb there, I would probably go straight across like that. Going up through here. Yeah, I think you did a good job with your prep. I mean, there's always room for improvement for all of us on pretty much every case. But I think you did a pretty good job there. Biggest thing is you did a great job with your cord at getting that cleaned up and getting everything retracted through. Okay, so now that I kind of redrew that a little bit, let's check on there and we'll see if we still have these margin areas showing through. Okay, you can see we're doing a lot better. Let me check these two, and then I'll go back to the one on the buckle last. And sometimes I will tinker too much with this. But I really don't like those orange spots because it's just putting us at a higher risk for a chip. I will also look underneath and I can see a little bit better here, but I can see specifically in kind of this area, maybe some areas where I'm off the tooth and onto tissue. Okay, and I would probably leave those other two alone. Let's look back on the facial here. So that's pretty much my process there, and I'll just dink around until I'm tired of dinking around. And then we'll let it propose. So in a case like this, I mean, I'd still like Biocopy, I would still use Biocopy, but it may not have been the best case to use Biocopy on. So if I turn my restoration way down, you can see how much more of a slant there is on the Biocopy than there is on the proposed crown using biogeneric individual. Okay, so if I turn that back up, we can see, and then if I turn off the lower jaw and do a slice, throw in minimal thickness, you can see a little bit more that there's definitely more bulk through there that has come up with the software alone. So your question as to, you have like 4 millimeters of clearance. You did, and I agree with you on that. But you did not have that much clearance for the Biocopy, which was there beforehand. And so you have to decide, is that just some old lab tech that made those contours look like they did? Or is there a reason that it's there? Like she's got a lot of, or Donald has a lot of, right and left, lateral slop in his jaw. But we're looking pretty good through here, and then I just kind of go through at this point. Let's turn off the lower jaw, and I'm just going to kind of define these contours on here. Okay, and that may be a little heavy. Okay, and I think we're a little heavy on the occlusion there. I will still not connect if I can click on the right button. Pause, please. Okay, I will still use the articulator for most of these restorations. So I'll go back to the articulation, turn that on. Go back to design, click on the articulator, let it recalculate here real quick. And then those areas I will adjust out using contacts button and the FGP. That will drop everything down. I'll turn that off, turn that off. And so even in here, we're just a little bit shallow for that 1.2. So I would probably go ahead and bulk that back up then and plan on adjusting the opposing just a little bit. Kind of something like that. So the couple takeaway points. One, I think that you can help your margins out a little bit just by spending a little bit more time on them. Two, Biocopy is wonderful. I love Biocopy and I use it. But maybe don't, maybe look at the Biocopy line and realize that, okay, the old crown was pretty way over contoured on that buckle aspect, and maybe you're not going to use Biocopy in that area, and you would do more of a Biocopy over the lingual aspect. Or in a case like this, biogeneric individual actually worked better. But I have a little instrument, it's a composite instrument that's about 1.8 millimeters wide, and that's what I just have the patient bite down. So if I have them bite down, I'll turn off the restoration to show you. And I just make sure that I can slide that thing. I can slide that 1.7 millimeter instrument right through there. If I can pass freely, then I'll be okay. This case, I'd say, was just more of an exception because the Biocopy was already pretty over contoured on the buckle, and that's why you ran into minimal thickness issues. So you're doing a good job, nothing's out of whack there. Your buckle bite clearly worked in this instance, everything's stitched together very nicely. But it's just making sure that you understand that even though you've got your minimal thickness in there and you had the clearance, you didn't quite have the room with your Biocopy. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Showed you a couple things there. Let me know on your next case how you do, and if you want to send that to me, I'll make you a little video also. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.